Hey, big bro soul. How's it going, man? Hope all is good. Hope all is good. Thanks for the content again. That video, man, that recipe. You're absolutely right, man. We could keep cooking the same recipe. We're going to get the same results, man. Yup. Yeah, I feel it, man. I wanted to ask you, I'm first of all sorry for what you experienced. I know it had to be hard because, when you finally, invest in someone and it doesn't work out, it hurts. You know what I'm saying? And that's what trying to ask you, like, how do you cope with it? You know what I'm saying? How do you deal with everything that you had in mind, what you thought it was, actually wasn't? How do you deal with that? Or like you just bury it, like, how to deal with that the right way, actually. You know what I mean? So if you have any words of advice, that'd be dope. All right, be easy.
At ease, brothers. And let me give a shout out to my brother Omar, man, a young cat from across that water. Very wise young man that I talk to every once in a while on Instagram, brother. He's always asking the right questions. What I want to say first, man, is, and the reason I want to say this first is because I was initially, some weeks ago, I said, man, that whole sleeping with the enemy series I started, brother, I could have ran that thing to the end of 2024, man. But I said, man, I'm gonna pull the plug on even talking about that, man. Just let the past be the past. But you gotta understand, the only reason I even started talking about that is because, I feel like if two people go separate ways, right, for whatever reason, like it's like, you know what, okay, we were cool, we were jiving, like we go separate ways. Let's just go separate ways. Like I live my life, you live your life, right? But the crazy thing happened, man, is like after so many days, after so many weeks, after about a month or so, man, I was just getting all these texts and calls and people were saying, hey, man, well, it's been said that you were this and you were that and you did this. And in my mind, I'm like, how in the world did it go from one day me being the perfect man, the perfect fiance, plastered all on your social media as the perfect guy, I catch you moving wrong, and 24 hours later, I'm like America's Most Wanted. I'm like, I still can't make sense of that, right? But that's when I said, man, let me get online and do what I do and just speak my truth. Speak my truth, man. And once I got to speaking my truth, man, brothers were saying, hey, man, like, tell us the rest of the story, give us some more. And I said, no, bro, I'm gonna just let that thing down, right? So that was the first reason I started making it. The second reason I put that stuff online is because I said, like I said before, I said it don't make no sense, man, for one man to go through something and the brothers that are close to him go through the same thing. So I believe it's an iron sharpening iron type thing, man. It's like, bro, if I slipped up, if I went down the wrong road and messed up, called a bad play, there's no reason why my brothers close to me should go through the same thing, right? So that's why I shared it when I shared it, man. And that's kind of why I'm even making this video today. Because the question that Brother Omar asked me is really the meat and potatoes of what I want my brothers to take away from my situation. Like, how do you get past that? And the reason I think that's important, man, is because now that I've gone through it, I can see how it can take a man down. I can see how when I see a man sleeping up under a bridge, or when I see a man walking around in a trance and he's lost life of a situation that happened a long time ago, I can see now how that happens, bro. Like if a man isn't built a certain way, if a man doesn't have certain things in place, if he doesn't call certain plays, bro, this can easily take a man down. So this is why I felt the need to even talk about this again, man. But let me say this, man, because I need you to understand the place that I'm coming from. Like the place that I'm coming from, even if I'm talking about somebody I've talked to in the past, right? It's not even coming from a place of anger when I talk about that person, man, because I'll say this, man, like it quickly went from me being angry at a person to me, honestly, brothers, man, me feeling sorry for a person, man. And it's weird because, after I put that video out, man, it's crazy because a handful of brothers just called me, brothers that I didn't even know. I had 4 brothers call me that knew my ex. Some of them knew her from her old, where she used to live at. Some of them had been involved with her, some of her. But, and in my mind, I'm like, why are these brothers calling me, man? And these brothers were just saying pretty much like, yeah, man, we saw the shit online. We knew when y'all hooked up, and bro, that ain't what that was, man. And kind of telling me about her past, and kind of telling me like this what she does, kind of telling me how accessible she was to perfect strangers type shit. And it quickly went from me being angry, brother. I ain't gonna lie, man. It turned into sorrow, man. It turned into sorrow, man. In my mind, all I kept asking myself was like, I can't understand why her family doesn't help her or didn't help her. I don't know what the fuck they doing now. But it's like, man, she needs help. So that's when I got off the gas, man. I said, I ain't even trying to send no smoke signals that way, bro. So I done spoke my truth and I got off the gas. But I want to talk about this today, man, because a lot of y'all brothers have gone through this, and hell, there's gonna be a lot of y'all brothers in the future that will go through this. This is just life, man. So you need to know how to come up out of this thing, bro. You need to know how to come up out of this, right? So brother asked, how did I get over it, right? I'm gonna keep it all the way 100 with y'all, man. When that shit first went down, of course, the only thing you can think about, man, is hurt and pain and betrayal and what the fuck and what was the reason why, trying to make sense of everything, bro. I'm gonna tell you this, man. It's healthy to visit that spot, but visit that spot for only 5 minutes. Visit that spot very briefly, man. Don't let that anger sit there and linger. Don't let all that, want to get revenge and all that stuff linger. Don't try to figure out why and when did it start and how many. Don't try to figure none of that stuff out, bro. Sit in that energy for about 5 minutes. Let that shit boil for a second and then come out of that, right? And when I say come out of that, man, the first thing you have to do, brothers, the first thing you have to do is take ownership of the entire situation. You have to take ownership of the entire situation. And it's not to take accountability from the woman you may be involved with or have been involved with, but take ownership of it. In other words, for example, when my situation went down, bro, and I sit still for 5 minutes and thought about it, I said, you know what, man, like the red flags were there. The red flags were there from damn near day one. Damn near day one, man. So I say, you know what? This shit shouldn't have been nothing more than a fling, to be honest, because she was showing signs of, like non-wifey type flags, And it trips me out, man, because a lot of y'all brothers and sisters will get on that video and say, I saw this, man. I saw she was doing this. I saw one of the sisters the other day put, yeah, I knew from the get-go, yada, yada, yada. And my thing is, shit, y'all should have been all in my DMs. Y'all should have been all in my damn DMs, man. But the first thing, man, again, take ownership of it. Sit back and say, you know what, man, I'm not going to even be mad about this. I'm going to sit back and say, you know what? I chose this person. I chose to, even though I saw a million little red flags, I chose to look toward the sweetness. I chose to look toward the intimacy and the meals and all these things that she was using to camouflage the fact that she wasn't a certain thing, man. So the first thing is take ownership, bro. And I'm gonna tell you this. Anybody that's ever been in a similar situation, I don't think there's anybody that's been in that situation and couldn't turn around and look at the past and see signs of it possibly happening. You know what I'm saying? Even toward the end of it, bro. Even toward the end, and I'm gonna tell you this, man. And I haven't told anybody this. Even before it ended, man, my intuition already told me, like, I don't know what's going on, but this situation is over. My intuition had already told me, man. I remember the last time I was at her house, I knew for a fact that was going to be the last time I was there. The shit hadn't even happened yet, bro. I knew for a fact I would never be coming here again. Cause I remember when I got home, man, I remember she called me. She was like, hey, you left this here. Did you know you left this here? Did you know you left this gift that I got you? Did you know you left all this stuff here? And I was like, yeah. And to be honest, man, I didn't know how it was going to go down. I figured at some point we would just part ways because shit just wasn't jiving. But I didn't know that shit was going to go down. But instinctively, man, my intuition had already kicked in. I knew that shit was over, bro. I knew that shit was over. So that kind of helped soften the blow, man. But all I'm saying is the first thing, man, take ownership, bro. Take ownership of the situation because that's where your power is, right? The second thing is you have to forgive. You have to forgive, man. And I know for a fact, this is where most men get trapped. You know, I tell a lot of brothers, man, I think I might have shared this on a YouTube video ago. I know I share it with my brothers in the circle. I know I share it with my brothers that I talk to one-on-one that are going through situations, you know, where they have an ex they're still pissed off. And I say, man, you know what? I don't care what she did. I don't care if you walked in and caught her doing a certain thing. I don't care what took place. You have to forgive her, bro. Because that lack of forgiveness is actually a ball and chain from you to her. Like she governs and rules and owns your authority if you're still pissed off at her. There's this video I got, man. I'll talk about that another day. On why I might talk about that tomorrow on why forgiveness is important. But the thing is to forgive, man. And not just to forgive just because the Bible told you to forgive, but forgive for yourself. Forgive for yourself, man. I mean, even though a man could sit back and say, you know what, man, well, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. I mean, at the end of the day, bro, at the end of the day, I can sit there and make that situation so personal. But at the end of the day, man, I say, you know what, man, everybody fucks up at some point in time. Every you know, like the Bible say, let him who without sin cast the first stone. I can't look back at my life and say, man, I ain't never jacked up. It just is what it is. So once I said, you know what, once I took ownership of that shit, because once I took ownership of it, I own all the energy associated with it. And once I forgave and said, you know what, I have no beef, no static, no anger toward sister. What takes place when you forgive, man, is it takes all that anger and it transmutes it. Well, it's not even transmuting it yet. It takes all that anger and just makes it raw energy. I'm talking alchemy now, bro. I'm talking about how you can take any bad situation and transmute it into whatever you want to. Once you take that raw energy and just forgive it, it just becomes raw God force. You know, like when the Bible says something like, you know, your enemies will build your kingdom and all this kind of stuff. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. Just a quick side note, man. There was a chick that I went on a date with. I went on a date with this chick, I want to say in 2020. One date. After that date, man, we were like, man, this was fun, man. Gave her a hug. Man, hey, talk to you later. She was like, man, this is the best experience ever. Went our separate ways and just didn't talk again. About a month or two later, this chick called me up talking about I was the devil. And I'm like, who is this? And she said, I'm making YouTube videos about her. Ever since then, man, this chick, and I'm not sure if she's still doing it, she was making videos about me for years, 2 years, 3 years. And in my mind, I was like, I don't know why sister is pissed, but I'll take the energy. I'll take the energy and build with it. It's like if somebody comes to my YouTube channel and gives me a thumb down. It's just raw energy to me. It's like you disagree with the video. It's like, well, thank you for watching. Thank you for giving me that energy. Like maybe next time you'll like the next one. But I'll take that energy and do what I want with it. You know, and that just comes back down, man. I'm always talking about emotional energy, bro. Like anger is not a good force to be living with. But if you can forgive, if you can take ownership of a situation, man, it becomes a lottery ticket, bro. It becomes a lottery ticket when you forgive. When you look at every single person and say, you know what? Yeah, that was fucked up. but you're human just like me. Let me take that and transmute it. But that's when it comes down to the magic right there, man. But because you can take that raw energy at this point, brothers, and do what you will with it. But even if a man takes ownership, even if a man forgives, a man still can't really transmute it unless he has purpose. And that's why I'm always talking about purpose. I'm always talking about who are you? Where are you going? Because if a man is just sitting there with raw energy, all he's going to end up doing is getting back mad again and pouring it back into an old situation. But I took that raw energy and ran with it. I transmuted it. I started a whole new business with it, bro. That's when I started Exit Strategies. Quick plug. If y'all on an Exit Strategies, man, I think we're down to 12. After the early bird, man, I put it in for taking another 20 people at the early bird pricing. I think we're down to 12 spots remaining. So if you want to get into Exit Strategies, man, and learn how to get that digital bag, I'm showing people exactly what I do, how I get the bag, how I gain my freedom, how I wrote my book and got X amount of dollars, how I get brand deals like T. Shanley, how I get the YouTube bag, how I get the membership bag like the pop. I'm giving the whole spiel. Anybody interested in that, man? I got a few spots left at the early bird pricing. I'll leave a link. Check that out. But I took that raw energy and I started a whole business, man. Started a whole business that changed my life. Man. So that's really how you come out of a breakup or come out of a sour situation. Is you first have to own it, you forgive, and then you transmute it. So in other words, when I say transmute it, instead of me sitting here on my couch, pouting and being pissed off, instead of me going to my partner's house and saying, man, this chick shouldn't have did X, Y, Z, and I did all that. Instead of doing that, I took my ass in my office and sit there for, day up and day night. I sitting there on the weekends when everybody was going out clubbing, doing everything, and I put together a game plan. You know what I'm saying? I put together a game plan and I took all that raw energy and just dumped it in it. So it's about learning how to transmute it, brothers. It's about learning how to transmute these bad things. Like, that's how you get over it. Because this shit happens, man. I mean, look on the freaking news, man. Look, I've been seeing all these celebrities getting divorced and hell, I've been seeing my neighbors getting divorced and people I know, man. It's crazy how many people I know personally that have been engaged within the last, I'll say 12 to 18 months that are no longer engaged anymore. It's crazy, man. And I just happen to be one of them sunbucks, man. So the world is gonna keep worlding. The relationship's gonna keep doing what they're doing, man. But when that happens to you, if it happens to you, I hope you avoid it. But you must know how to get past it, man. Because I'm telling you this, man. You can look on social media, you will see guys that things like this will happen, and next thing you know, they're on the news for doing some crazy stuff, or either to somebody else or to themselves, or they're going into states of depression and can't bounce back out of it. They're not going to work, they're not taking care of themselves, they're gaining weight, they're getting depressed, and they're living the rest of their days in this low vibrational state because of something some woman done. Something a woman done. So it's about coming out of that, bro. But I'll say this, man. The last thing that helped me get out of this shit, man, that helped me quickly overcome this shit was, man, I had to just pause and remember who the fuck I was, man. Like I had to remember like literally who the fuck I was. I had to look at all the work I put into building who I am and what I do and how I live and how I got my freedom and how I get the bag and how I, raise my son and everything about me, and say, man, I gotta remember who the fuck I am. Like on some I'm Rick James, bitch, type shit. I ain't gonna even hold you, man. I had to sit back and say, man, I'm motherfucking sold, man. And that pretty much just closed the door on the whole situation. They said, man, let me goddamn put my boots back on and get back to being who I am. So that's how you overcome it, man. But I'm gonna tell you this, brothers, and I mean this. I really, really mean this. If you have somebody in your life or your past that you've had a situation where maybe she stepped out or maybe whatever took place, man. If you can, brothers, find it in your hearts. Find it in your hearts. Even if you never talk to that person again, find it in your heart to send good vibes toward that person. Like for a number of days, man, you know, when I'm sitting there in my meditation, man, or I'm coming out and I'm walking around the block and I'm in this high vibe, I would take a portion of that high vibration and send it back her way. And literally send the energy of like, you know what, man, I hope she heals. I hope she gets past whatever, you know, demon is attached to her. I hope that one day, man, she finds the perfect man and they live happily ever after. Like that shit is in me, bro. I literally send that vibe to my ex where I was damn near every day for a minute, right? Because I understand how the world works. Like, again, that's my hack. Like, even when the Bible says, and I don't want to try to quote it, I'm going to butcher it, but it's somewhere where it says, like, bless those that curse you, or bless those that are against you, bless those that, like, you have to understand, that's a hack, man. If you could ever get past being pissed off at somebody, and I'm talking about relationships, I'm talking about friendships, I'm talking about third grade school teachers, I'm talking about basketball coaches that didn't let you make the team type shit. If you can ever get past that, man, and find some of your good energy and send it back their way, brother, that's the quickest way to build your kingdom. Because what you put out is what you receive. The fact that I can put good vibes toward my enemies, brother, it changes everything for me, man. I mentioned this a few videos ago. One of my exes, man, that from years ago, a sister, man, that was close to me, man, been doing it my whole life. And when we left, we was on some bad terms, some dark terms. I saw a plug of her. It came across my damn TikTok where she got engaged, man. Brother, I was celebrating in the house, man, for minutes. I was just like, yes, I was lit, bro. I was lit like it was almost like my sister had got engaged or something. I'm gonna tell you, man, a powerful place to be in is when you get to the point where you can bless or send good vibes or celebrate with the people that are even against you, man. Your world will change forever. So yeah, man, that's how you get over it, brothers. Again, it's not an easy thing, man, and I'm not gonna sit here and cap like soul wasn't for about 2 or 3 days. I'm not gonna sit here and act like shit. I wasn't in some low place. For 2 or 3 days, man, I probably sit here, man. I probably wasn't cutting my hair. I was probably scratching my head. I know I wasn't making no content. I was probably eating some bad food for probably about 2 or 3 days, trying to just figure out like, did this shit just happen? Because like Brother Omar said, man, like he said, how did it feel, with you putting that much energy into her? And I'll be honest, man, if I'm honest with y'all brothers, due to the fact that I felt the situation kind of slipping, when the shit went down, did it hurt? Yeah, it hurt. It hurt like hell, bro. Like betrayal is a motherfucker, man. That shit hurt. But that shit was just kind of like, okay, that shit happened. It hurt like a mother, but that shit happens. The thing that hurts the most is the fact, what Brother Omar said, the fact that I put so much of my God essence into a person that did a certain thing. That was the pain. The fact that I slowed my progress down to say, you know what? Let me slow my progress down and pour some love and energy into this woman. Like, let me put her in a position where she can retire if she wants to. Let me put a ring on it, like women say. Let me do all these things. Let me make sure she's good. Let me do X, Y, Z. And then for her to go and do X, Y, that was the painful part. That part hurt way more than the fact that, hey, man, she stepped out and did what the fuck, So again, it always comes back to the same thing, though. It comes back to taking ownership. It comes back to forgiving. It comes back to transmuting that shit into whatever you want it to be. And then it comes back to you just remembering who the fuck you are, brothers.
When was the last time you woke up and did exactly what you wanted to do? When was the last time you woke up and said, you know what, I don't know what time it is, I don't know what day it is, but I'm just gonna wake up and be great, be my own version of myself. I'm telling you, brothers, you haven't achieved true freedom until you can wake up and do that. Now, I've been talking about what it feels like to wake up every single day and it feels like Saturday. Now it's time I show you how I got to that point. Now it's time that I'm allowing people to work with me directly. I'm not talking about taking some course and never hearing from me. I'm talking about working with me directly. I'm talking about you networking with the people I'm networked with. I'm talking about you learning exactly what I did to get from corporate America to true freedom. I've been talking about this freedom for so long. I've been saying every day should be Saturday. Now is your time to click this button and learn from me directly. Let me show you the way.